Kate is here because we're going to talk all about teen slang.
This reminds me of when we were kids and we would say the following. Sphincter says what?
Yes.
Being a tia, a titi, auntie, aunt is such a massive part of a young girl's life.
I love the idea that what gets taken away from this is like, I don't know how to talk to kids. No problem. Just ask them if they know what sex work is.
Just start. Well, you lead with that, and then you see where it
Lead
goes.
with that.
This episode may contain explicit language. Welcome to Care and Feeding, the show that's as honest and messy as parenting itself. I'm Elizabeth Newcamp. I write the homeschool and family travel blog, Dutch Goose. I'm the mom to Henry, who's 13, Oliver, who's 11, and Teddy, who's 9. And we are still in Atlanta, Georgia.
I'm Zak Rosen. I make another podcast. It's called The Best Advice Show. I am dad to Noah, who's 8, and Ami, who's 5. We live in Detroit.
Hey, I'm Lucy Lopez. I'm on another podcast, The Mamacita Rica. I'm mother to Amelia, who's 15, Avery, who's 12, and we live in Miami, Florida.
And this week, we're joined by special guest Kate Lindsay. Kate, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, thank you for having me. Yes, I'm Kate Lindsay. I am the host of ICYMI, which is Slate's podcast about internet culture. I am the mom of Partner and Ruby. They are 3 years old and they are cats.
Love that.
Meow.
So Kate is here for a very special episode all about kid slang, which we have been talking about in the Slack for a while. Kate, you host the Internet Culture Show, like you said, ICYMI. So you're very tuned into what is going on in a way that a lot of parents, at least I'll speak for myself, am not.
I think the big one right now that's getting a lot of attention is, of course, the 6'7" craze. So we're going to dig into what the whole thing means, what other phrases you've probably been hearing around your house.
Yeah, and then after that, we'll hear from a listener who's trying to figure out how to talk to the kids in her life in a way that doesn't feel like the Spanish Inquisition. We'll get advice from Kate and more.
Also, listeners, we're on YouTube. Every Monday, we will be posting one of our week's episodes. So if you want to see our faces, if you want to see my new baby puppy, if you want to see my bald head, subscribe to our channel. It's at Care and Feeding. Let us know what you think. And of course, for our diehard audio folks, we're not going anywhere.
More with us and Kate Lindsay here and on YouTube after the break. Welcome back. Kate is here because we're going to talk all about teen slang. Now, this whole conversation kicked off in our little chat group because, Zach, your kids came home.
Yeah. And I wouldn't have been so beguiled by it had Noah come home and started doing the 6'7" dance. But my son Ami is in pre-K and he's like 6'7", and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Where are you getting this? What does it mean? We have a lot of questions. I asked my kids even, like, what do you guys think this means? What the heck is 6'7"? I don't
Ask a teenager. I don't know. People just started saying it at school, and I don't want to feel left out all alone without 6'7".
So you just started repeating after them?
Yeah.
Huh.
Don't know really what it is, but
Okay. You want me to find out?
yep.
I'm going to ask a teenager. They don't even really understand. So,
In fact, Noah told you to get a teen to answer.
Yeah.
And so you sent it to us. I gave Henry a shot to answer. And here's what he had to say.
Hi, Noah. This is Henry. I'm here for your 6'7" question. So there was a basketball game, and this kid said 6'7" for some reason about his favorite basketball player's number was 6'7" at the thing. And he did the little hand gesture and said 6'7", and so did his friends, and it just went viral, just like most memes. So yeah, you can just say 6'7" like that. Honestly, I don't think it's a good meme. It's one of my least favorites, but okay, bye.
Yeah, and then my daughters wanted to explain it and also went down a rabbit hole of other slang that they are currently using. What does 6'7" mean?
6'7" is a lifestyle. That's it. It's like a kid who's like, well, it's like a basketball player, and they're like, how tall are you? I'm like, I don't know, like 6'7". And now it's a thing, fortunately, but yeah.
Are there any slangs at school that you use that I don't know about?
Low key. I don't know, low key. But you know, I use the slang with you.
Okay, but like a specific slang.
It's not really a slang. It's more like a thing. But like, you would do it too for a check. There's one.
Where does that come from?
It's this girl. She's talking about like how she became an employee. It's like a little inappropriate, but it's really funny. And she's like, "And you do too for a check. I was an employee, and I was gonna get employee of the month. Period." I say that a lot. I say, just vote, and I'm gonna be out. Just vote.
I say that.
What is it?
Just vote.
Just vote. Just vote.
Just vote, and I'm gonna be out.
Or go, Kylie, go. You're doing
Kylie,
amazing,
go.
sweetie.
The bottom line is, Kate, please save us. Save us from meme culture and explain to us what in the heck is 6'7". What does it mean? Please help.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, thank God a 32-year-old is now here to speak truth
You're
to
basically
power
a
on this
teen,
phrase. So, I mean, as you can already tell from your attempts to discern what this is, the point of 6'7", first and foremost, is that it doesn't make sense, particularly that it doesn't make sense to whoever they're talking to. Like, your befuddlement is the fun of it, but it does come from something. It started out in a song. Let me just, sorry, I have all my academic papers on this up, so let me just find it. So the song that it is from is by an artist named Skrilla. The song is called Doot Doot 6'7".
News. This is all news.
Yeah. And so the phrase 6'7" appears in that song. It is then used in fan cams about a basketball player who is in fact 6'7". But I would actually say that it really takes off, and the movement that you guys are seeing and demonstrating, which is kind of lifting your hands up and down.
Lucy, do it. Come on.
Yeah.
Everyone has to do it. Yeah.
This is really cool.
That is a video from a basketball game. It appears to be not like a professional one, but the camera kind of turns and pans onto a Gen Alpha of sorts, or a young Gen Z, and they see the camera, and the first thing they do is just go 6'7" and do the movement. Unfortunately, that is what I have for you, and it is just spawned from there. And again, it is what's fun about it for someone doing it is that when they do it to their parents or their teachers, the teacher gets frustrated and confused. And that alone, I think, was enough to fuel its rise into the phenomenon that it is now.
I feel like this reminds me of when we were kids and we would say the following to our parents in the wake of Wayne's World. Sphincter says what?
Yes.
Would you say this is this generation's Sphincter says
I
what?
agree with that 100%. That's literally what it is.
Yeah, I was trying to think of some analogies, but like what the one-to-one is for this, because I actually think with a lot of the slang that we're going to talk about today, it can be contextualized with like, well, this is the Gen Alpha version of what we used to say. With this, it was really hard to come up with one, because even like what you're saying, like Sphincter says what, that has context and like comes from something, and the joke is like, that they would say it. There's nothing like that to 6'7". There's not it, and because I was like, oh, maybe it's kind of like 69, but again, 69 means something, and again, and so I think it is what I likened it to in we did a Plus episode about this. Is this was a commercial for AT&T when I was in like middle school, and in it, a young girl, her mom is like questioning her about who she's talking to, and she goes, IDK my BFF Jill. I don't know if that phrase rings any bells, but I just remember it was something that in my cohort we just could not stop saying. Again, that's not quite right because it is from something, but yeah, anything that we said as teens to either knowing it would confuse or knowing that the adults wouldn't understand, that's the closest thing this is, except it comes from like online brain rot.
I was just going to say, I feel that Disney has set us up for this. And for this particular generation, I know exactly where it started. It started in Frozen 2 when Olaf comes out, hears a sound, and is like, Samantha? And it's just that one line. And again, I know what you're saying. Like, this is just someone that said something and it was mildly caught on camera, and then they ran with it and they did a song. But I feel that this generation in particular has always been like incredibly irreverent with their
Yes.
humor, and we've just been kind of assisting them to be more irreverent as the days go on, because now my kid's like, are you even in group 7? And I'm like,
I know about group 7.
which is
Tell
like,
us. Tell
it
us.
literally spawned within the past 48 hours
Yes.
on TikTok, and now they're walking around saying, yeah, that's so group 7 of you. And I'm like, what?
Yes, so group 7, yeah, this literally over the weekend this became a
Yeah.
thing, and so it emerged on TikTok, and essentially a creator who I believe is a musician, and so this was like an ingenious thing she did to
So
her
smart.
song is the soundtrack of all these videos. Essentially what she says is that she made 7 videos, and each video was like, if you're seeing this, you are in group 1,
You're-
2. Yeah. And the way that TikTok works is all these videos just get thrown into an algorithm, and people can kind of treat that algorithm a bit like a deity at times, where it's like, whatever you get served is like, it was meant for you. And so a lot.
If you're watching this video, you
Yeah.
win $1 million tomorrow.
Yes, truly. I'm seeing so much about group 7 that I like I'm starting to doubt that there were ever any other groups. But I think group 7 was, for whatever reason, the most common video that people got. And anytime I've now seen any of the other groups' videos, you go to the comments, it's all people commenting like, I'm just here lurking from group 7 and like can confirm this group is worse than our group. Like, it's completely manufactured. Like, I don't know if you guys watch The Traders, but it reminds me a little bit of like you just get randomly assigned being this thing, and I'll always laugh when a traitor, or whenever anyone is offended that they're being called a traitor, I'm like, well, it doesn't mean anything. And this is the same kind of thing, is it doesn't mean anything, but group 7, for whatever reason, the people who got that have decided to be like, we're actually the best group. And it spawned from there. And again, ingenious marketing for this song.
And it's this young girl, same generation. Like,
Mhm.
they just know. I'm telling you, it all started in Frozen 2 with Olaf.
That's a great
And
theory.
they're just building on this irreverence. It's bonkers. It's so good. I think
Yeah.
it's
What
great.
I think is incredible is how quickly it spreads. I mean, which obviously is assisted by the internet. But for example, my children are homeschooled. Our social media is low, not nothing, but definitely lower than most. And for sure, like this weekend, we're talking about group 7, and it's like a friend texted them, just like the ability for this information. And the friend that texted them is from school in Japan. Like, the way that this stuff is spreading, I think, is so quick, as opposed to how things, would move in the past. I've just been amazed. Okay, the other thing we're hearing now, when I sort of like to make a joke out of these things with my kids, under the idea that if I'm joking about it, it loses, some of its, fun for them, and then it stops. But when I was kind of making fun of the 6-7, and also they knew we were doing this segment, Henry's like, well, it's not even about that anymore. Now it's all about, 41.
Yeah.
What's up with
Oh,
that?
you know this, Kate. Whoa.
40
my
sorry,
God.
listen, 41 is just 6-7. Like, it doesn't have so it comes from a rap song, but again, it appears to just be the next chosen
Number.
Like, I think
The next
honestly,
chosen random number
the
combination.
fact that we are all doing a podcast about 6-7 indicates that it doesn't have that, like,
It's jumped the shark because
yeah,
we're
it doesn't
talking
have that
about it.
baffling quality anymore. Like, an adult has heard of it. And so I think they've just moved to 41, because my husband is a 5th grade teacher, and I'll have to ask him about 41 because he's still in the trenches of 6-7, and he says it's ruined. Like, you can't count up or down. He can't make any math problems.
Yeah, using rulers, I heard, is a
Yes, oh
problem.
my God,
Because 6
yeah.
and 7 are on the ruler together.
What?
Yeah,
These
and
numbers
he
are
said
just
that in
unusable
his
now.
experience, him trying to participate in 6-7 because he thought that would kill it.
Yeah.
He said his class at least is immune. They did not. It didn't stop them.
They're
But I'm
so
sure
evil.
41's coming. I know.
They're so evil. This whole group, they're little evil comedic geniuses. They get under everybody's skin. I mean, I love it. I love it, and then I hate it.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate it.
I mean, I'm interested, Kate, in what you're saying about unlike Sphincter Says What, which has like a source, this is kind of post logic, and you're talking about brain rot. Like, what does it mean that our kids are all obsessing over this thing that actually is meaningless?
Yeah, this is something that is really interesting and something that is emerging about Gen Alpha specifically, is the idea, obviously, that and again, my 2 children are 3-year-old cats, so definitely correct me if I'm wrong. I know, like, they are watching things like Frozen, but the rise of like non-narrative content, I think, is particularly and I know YouTube is the biggest platform for that they're on, and on YouTube obviously there's vlogs, but that's anecdotally not even what they're watching. They're watching streams, like live streams of people, or watching content that's a bit more like Mr. Beast, like prank. And so the content itself is not narrative, isn't plot based. I've seen, I'm citing a tweet here, so like grain of salt, but that someone said that they spoke to someone younger who said that they're not interested in plot based content. They want more like, I don't know, again, correct me if I'm wrong, to me it feels like Cocomelon's to blame for that, like the original brain rot. I don't know.
Well, it's definitely like shorter. I mean, I would say their attention span is definitely shorter in what they're choosing to, right? Like in what they're choosing to consume. And also, though, I do think there's like this social element to it of like community building, because especially again, my kids are exposed to most of this through people, like their friends sending them stuff. And when I'm like, why are you watching this? They're like, well, if I don't see this, then I can't participate in the like conversation or in the things that we're doing this. And this is like something our community does. And to me, it's sort of like the ultimate argument, for a bunch of homeschool kids to be like, we need this because when we go out, everyone else is having this. I'm like,
just like we were talking about with video games a couple weeks ago.
We talked about
video games to build community.
I think often when we talk about this stuff, we don't think about what it means to them and what belonging means and what, like, sure, it's super annoying, but like when the entire class gets together to do something annoying to a teacher, at least they're like, we talk a lot about friendships and friendship building and like, are these kids connecting with each other? Like, this is an annoying way to connect, but it's still connection.
Yeah, no, I remember when I was in middle school, my choir teacher, he was new and we didn't like that he was new. We just like rejected him. And we came up with a scheme of like basically that everyone, anytime someone, like it started where one person went up to sharpen their pencil, and the moment they came back, then the next person needed to go sharpen their pencil. And we had to keep that going for like, so that there was a constant stream of people sharpening their pencil just as a way to like annoy him. And again, yeah, it was like a pass it on. We're all sharpening our pencils to like that, but that's like a pre 6-7 type of moment, but similar, like we're bonding at the expense of a teacher.
I tried to get like my daughter's take on things. She's 15 years old, and the first thing that came out of her mouth, I go, why do you think everybody's like, so she looked at me dead in the face. She was like, because things are really ugly and serious right now.
Yeah.
And that was a real reaction from a 15-year-old living in America. She's like, everything is so sad. Everything is mean. Everything is terrible. And who cares? They're just numbers. We're just saying numbers. Like, it's not hurting anybody's feelings. We're not making fun of anyone. And I was like, God, that makes so much sense. It's almost like it's like a release for them. Like, everything is so serious all the time. She goes, if it's not schoolwork, it's something that's in the news, or everything is bad. And this is like the only thing that everybody can agree with is very funny because the old people get mad.
Right.
And it's like,
right.
Got it. We've all been teens. We know what that means.
So like the meaninglessness of it is like appealing because
it's so appealing.
The meaning of everything else is so heavy.
Because it's not serious. And I understand the whole like, well, it's brain rot. That's what brain rot is. But I feel for them, it's a little bit more like everything is terrible. I want to just laugh at something dumb.
Yeah, you can either brain rot or you can doom scroll, and it's like I'd rather brain rot.
I'd rather my kid walk up to, like, we got into an argument over the weekend, and we all started laughing because the little one, Avery, 12 years old, looked over at my husband, her dad, and goes, "Daddy, chill." And if you know anything about meme culture and short, that's literally like a video that was really popular of this dad coming in on this big party that the kids threw at the house. And it's a guy with a big beard and a wig who looks over at the adult and is like, "Daddy, chill." And Amelia knew what she was saying. My husband had no idea why we were like literally in tears laughing.
Yeah.
And I guess the reaction of that is what just kept the joke going. And that meme is like, what, 10 years old now, Kate?
Yeah. No, it's funny to see how much there's obviously things that change and fall in and out, but there's also real constants, even if they aren't the exact same meme. Like I was thinking, I know bruh is now huge, which is just bro, which is just brother. Like I feel like as a millennial growing up online, like don't tase me, bro. Like those, like to me, bro is so dated, and it's so interesting that just the simple switch to bruh, which I was looking into it, appears to have started on Vine, which is like the short-lived pre-TikTok. And that little tweak, it means the same thing, it's used in the same context, but like bro is cringe, bruh is fine.
Well, and again, it seems like one of the fun of that also seems to be addressing adults that way. Like they do it to each other, but like it seems to be the real fun is like calling your mother that, you know.
Right. And also it's not fun if you and your parent are using the same slang. So like,
right.
You know, I feel like a lot of millennials are parents right now, they know bro, and so as a kid you're like, well, I can't say that, it's gonna be bruh.
Yeah.
What are some other big ones, Kate?
All of my knowledge of this is kind of filtered. Obviously, I see stuff online, but honestly, firsthand through my husband. I know Ohio. That's a little bit last year. I feel like I'm a little late, but I know Ohio just meaning something as like dumb or bad. Riz is one that's like
Riz remains.
Stood the test of time. Okay. Yeah, because we had a linguist on ICYMI at the beginning of this year because the word of the year was raw dogging, which is an internet term, not a Gen Alpha phrase. But so we spoke to a linguist about how internet terms not just appear, but what makes them stick around. And one of the reasons they stick around is if they're filling a need, like if we don't have a word for it. And so with something like raw dogging, it's being used to, the original context is less appropriate, but now it's been reappropriated as basically doing something without kiddie wheels, or like doing something without help or distraction.
Like if you put your phone away for the day, you'd be like raw dogging the day.
Yeah, you're raw dogging.
Or if you get on an airplane without
and you
headphones.
watch the map.
Yeah.
That is the
no
book. No, you just stare at the map,
you're
just raw dogging. Yeah,
you're just doing life raw. And so like that fills a need. The weird thing about that one is because the second criteria is whether or not it's obtrusive, which basically means does it stand out when you say it. Raw dogging, it's hard to say without being like not the one you're maybe thinking of, like and so I don't know if that one will stick, but like something like Riz, weirdly, I know, sorry, yeah, something
this shit is gross.
I know, something like Riz kind of it feels right to say, and so it's
even
kind of
in the beginning when I first heard my youngest say the word Riz, my husband and I were like, what did you just say?
Yes, yeah, but something like
Riz,
something like skibbity toilet, which is another example of like the brain rot, and this is similar to 6-7, but more that like skibbity was like no one actually said it earnestly. The joke was that they said, so again, like layers and layers, but the word is very obtrusive and there's not a need for it because it doesn't mean anything. And so that's why like you can kind of see that one is already like, in my experience, but you're the ones who I imagine would have it said to you.
I just want to tell parents, if I know you're hearing the phrase brain rot a lot in this episode, I want you to know that there's right now an independent gaming company, a studio, that has surpassed Grow Garden on Roblox. It's called Brain Rot. It's an entire game based on brain rot. And it is surpassed Grow Garden. It's the biggest game being played on Roblox right now. It is massive, and it all has to do with everything that you're hearing in this episode. This is what the video game is about, where they give each other money, they trade outfits, and the game is called Brain Rot. And a lot of gamers out there are assuming that the reason why they chose that name was because of this conversation we're having right now.
Yeah.
So there's money in it, kids.
Well, Kate, we are so glad that you could stop by, and we hope that you'll come by more to help us
Absolutely.
unpack some of this.
I mean, I need to hear from you, I feel like you guys know first what is coming up from Gen Alpha on the internet before I even do.
Well, also your husband sounds like such a valuable
This is true.
correspondent,
Yeah,
too,
I have multiple sources embedded
great.
within undercover.
All right. Well, listeners, we, of course, want to know what you're hearing at home. If you have a story, you have a question, you can also, of course, always share with us your triumphs, your fails, your meltdowns. You can email us at karenfeedingpod@slate.com or leave us a voicemail, 646-357-9318. We're going to take one more quick break, but we'll be back in a second with a listener question. Welcome back. It's time to answer a listener question. This one is from Certified Awkward Auntie.
Hey, Karen Feeding via Elizabeth. I'm a 30-something, happily child-free auntie, sounds amazing, who genuinely loves the kids in my life, my sister's kids, my friends' kids, all of them. When they were babies and toddlers, it was easy. I would snuggle, read a book, hunt for bugs, but now they're older and I feel totally lost on how to actually talk to them. Every attempt at conversation feels like I'm conducting the Spanish Inquisition. You know, rapid fire questions that go nowhere, and they're incredibly awkward for both of us. How do I connect with these kids in a way that doesn't feel awkward or forced?
Well, I wanted to start by saying with teens, sometimes it just does anyway. But I think this listener is more talking about like elementary school kids. Does anyone have any ideas?
I mean, I'm interested in hearing the answer to this because I feel exactly this way too. Because when I was growing up, I think I'm aware of how much I hated being talked down to, and now I'm so nervous about coming across like I'm gonna talk down to them that I never know quite where to land, and I feel like everything comes out awkward. But again, of course, I've told my husband this, and he goes, "You just talk how you normally would, but call him dude." So that's his advice.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's very good.
I would just not underestimate the power of shared chaos. Play a game, watch a meme together. I have TikTok, so I repost a bunch of videos that later, when I need that really special one-on-one time that I really need somebody's attention, whether it's Amelia's or Avery's, we'll sit down and we'll go through my repost and we'll like grade them 1 to 5, 5 being the best one. And that's a really great way that lately we've been like connecting, just one of the key ways. And like keep it light. Kids can immediately detect if you're trying to be cool with them. Like, don't walk into the conversation immediately going 6'7", 6'7", because they're gonna see right through that and they're just gonna
But what
ignore
if we
the
say
shit out of you.
4-1, 41?
If you
Yeah,
say
just
4-1,
lead with 4-1. Exactly.
if you leave it 4-1, yeah. Also, something that worked the other day, it was a really great conversation between one of the many tias my daughters are lucky to have. My cousin Fefi asked Amelia, like, if she had $10, what would be like a snack that she would immediately spend money on? And she's like, oh, great, this and this and this. And I would buy blue Takis because mom doesn't let me eat that. And I would, Slurpee. And it was like a really great way of seeing that dynamic, that relationship, and how much she would share with her and not. I mean, you just got to be like on their level a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah, I put like crazy absurd questions on my list too. Like I think it's not the question asking itself that maybe is going wrong, but I think so often like with adults, a question is read as like, if I ask you a question in this kind of environment, you know that what I'm actually doing is inviting you to share something with me. Like a question is basically me saying, hi, I want to connect. Will you tell me something? It's not, but kids, like the subtext is not there. They don't understand. They're like, in my life, when an adult asks me a question, I need to answer the question, right? And I feel awkward, so I want to answer this as short as possible. So I think that one, like a crazy question that piques their interest. But number two, I think the big thing is that if you are like a childless auntie and you're, first of all, can we just say to this letter writer, like, amazing, way to show up for these
Brava,
parents in your
brava.
life. Like, I just am
Yes,
blown
thank
away
you.
when we get questions from people without kids. So first of
Yeah.
all, just like you're doing all the right things, who cares if it's awkward? But number two, I think that kids love to be an expert, and what you have the opportunity, because regardless of the situation, you do not have to be like the person in control. It sounds like the parents are usually there, they're doing the caregiving. You can literally just be the fun, crazy auntie who is like, what are you the expert in? What, all you need is a grain of something their parent told you or that you're noticing to ask them to show you the thing. And I think you can just say, like, especially with our elementary kids, right? Like, I don't have kids. What is this thing that you're playing with? Or, hey, I heard this thing. Can you explain it to me? Like, just let them be the expert and then ask with curiosity. I think the other thing is to ask questions that are based on your observations. So, like, if they're carrying a doll around, or if you're at their house, like, can you show me X? And then just ask curious questions. Because I think most kids, I mean, the other thing is, if you get a kid that, like, you're reading and they are, like, shy and don't like this, I think the other thing you can do is be like, cool, I'm going to go sit and look at this book over here, and I would love for you to join me, but also, like, I get it. I'm the weird adult. Like, giving them permission also, like, you do not have to perform in front of me, because your goal here, it sounds like, is long-term relationship building, not necessarily just like filling this gap.
Being a tia, being a tia, a didi, auntie, is such a massive part of a young girl's life. That is like where those big relationships happen, and also where the big conversations are happening. I see it with my daughters and their tias now, like the way they bond. I know there are things that they may not immediately share with me that they will text one of the aunts a question about. You're also that source. Don't take it lightly. Like, it's a big job to be an auntie, like a full-time auntie. I love it. I have so much fun with my nieces and nephews, but that's also, think about that. Like, what kind of relationship do you want to have with this child? Is it a girl? Do you want to be like this empowering auntie, or do you want to be fabulous and show up in like barely their clothes and be that aunt? That aunt is needed too. There's 3 in my family. I don't know. Tias are very
like
important
the
part of my culture.
consistency of it, though, right? Like, they're not going to necessarily remember that it's always, if what they feel when you're there is like, this is someone that supports me, that's what's going to build this long term. I was going to say that I had this, I was at this event that was like mostly adults, and a friend of mine had her daughter there, and I see them every time we're in Atlanta and they come to visit. So let's say I see her maybe once or twice a year, and then on FaceTime sometime. But I had noticed that she was like pulling on her mom, and her mom was talking to a bunch of people. So I got down and just said to her, I knew we were all planning to go roller skating together, and she had been before. So I was just like, hey, really quick, I know we're going roller skating on Monday. Like, what do I need to bring? Which is like, I obviously know what to bring to roller skating, right? But this girl was she was like, I have been, this is what they have, this is what you're going to need to bring. And she's listing ridiculous things. Like, you're going to need to bring, like not ridiculous, but like an extra pair of socks. Or like, she said, you need to wear something that's kind of sparkly because they have a disco ball and you're going to want it to catch your, right? But she was totally in to engage with me there, such that we could then transition to something else. So I think, like, don't feel like it has to be a forward moving, or that you necessarily actually even need the advice. Like, you're just basically inviting them to connect.
It's complicated when you're an aunt and you're not with the kids all the time, because I get the best stuff from my kids, like in the in-between moments, right? When they're on the back of the bike, before bed, in the bath. Of course, not when I'm asking them how their day was, which we all know is a meaningless question. And so think about like an activity you can do, leaning on the expertise piece that Elizabeth was saying. Say, will you teach me how to play this game? And then you two have this kind of third thing, this other thing to focus on, other than you trying to figure out like the best question, because that's just impossible. Take a walk, take a bike ride, like just like, get them maybe away from their parents for a while, and like Lucy was saying, like, be the cool and like talk about, I don't know, who you're dating, or to the level that it's appropriate to the age, but like treat them with dignity like Kate was
so
saying,
important.
like just talk to them how you talk to people. Add a bruh, add a dude, for good measure. But like, you know, the aunt and uncle dynamic is so different. Like I feel like I brought. I don't know if I should have done this, but I feel like I may. Oh, it was in Amsterdam when my sister was visiting us with her husband and their 2 kids. We happened to like stumble into the red light district, and their uncle Zak was the one who explained to them what we were seeing. And I asked, like, have you heard of sex work before? Have you what is this thing that what is this thing that I'm smelling, Zak? Oh, do you know what marijuana is? It was be the one
best.
not to corrupt them, but to like show them, you know, a wider world too. And I think that earns you a lot of points.
You're that Thanksgiving uncle. After Thanksgiving dinner,
yeah, we're gonna go out back.
And Junior.
Yep.
I love the idea that what gets taken away from this is like, I don't know how to talk to kids. No problem. Just ask them if they know what sex work is.
Just start, you lead with that, and then you see where it goes. Yeah.
Then they know the door is open to any question. No, I think especially with older kids, I think that's the best thing about being an auntie is being the one that is open to answering those questions. Like,
oh my gosh, I love seeing Avery call Diana and be like, Didi, can you FaceTime? Because I just worked on my eyeliner. She's learning how to do cat eye. And Diana is the one who does the best cat eye out of all the women in my family. And that bond, that conversation is everything for her. You know, it's funny. It's like, be that aunt, be that aunt, be a special kind of aunt too. Don't be a boring aunt. Like, don't do that. Just be fun.
And then when they get a little bit older and they don't want your advice anymore, I was an RA for a camp, and they were all 15, very scary age. And I found the easiest way, the quickest icebreaker was I just let them look at my Instagram, and they made fun of it. They made fun of all my poses. They made fun of how few likes I had compared to them, how few followers I had. So I just was like, have at it. And so, once they stop maybe thinking you're cool, just let them think you're lame, and that's fun too.
Yeah, I don't think they care, right? Like, in some ways, breaking the coolness, like letting them know that you don't think you're cool either, is like a way in. Like, we're not in competition here.
I just need to clarify. Not that I'm doubling back on what you said. I didn't.
You're like, more about the sex work thing.
I didn't bring up sex work or weed. They saw it, and then their parents didn't know what the hell to do, so it fell on Uncle Zak. You
were the one willing to answer the question that was before their eyes.
Yeah. It didn't come out of nowhere.
There's nothing worse when you are a kid and having an adult go like, oh, you're not old enough for that. Like, I mean, speaking from kid experience, that sucks. And so I feel like, you demystify. They want the real answer.
Kate, you're the 30-year-old teenager on the show.
I am. Thank you. I'm gonna make fun of everyone's Instagram and and no.
The next time you come back, you can scroll through our Instagrams. Let us know.
Never post that again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, that angle. No, see, that's the thing. I still take my pictures from above. That's not cool anymore. That's very like millennial. You gotta go from below. So those are my parting words.
Oh,
below and 0.5.
Yes, 0.5. Whatever makes you, in my opinion, look the craziest.
Insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Alien head. They're all aiming for alien head.
I'm
insane.
just gonna stick with my no-show socks and my photo, my stupid selfies, and just this is where I am.
It'll come back around. It will. Exactly. It always does.
I just gotta hold on. All right. Well, listeners, we of course want to know what you think. How would you navigate this? I'm sure you have all kinds of tips and tricks. You can let us know what you think by emailing KarenFeedingPod@slate.com or leave us a voicemail 646-357-9318. Or of course, go to the Slate Parenting Facebook group and you can post there.
Also, we've opened up what we're calling the Parenting Guilt Hotline. It's just a place for you to share those little parenting guilt moments, the funny ones, the cringy ones, even the ones you just need to say out loud to somebody who gets it. Call us and share your guilt at 646-357-9318 or email us your story and we may share it on the show.
Before we go, this week on the Slate Plus Playground, I can't believe I'm going to say this, Elizabeth, me and Zach are going to give recommendations for last minute Halloween costumes
Just
for
got
you
mine
and your
today.
friends. This, Elizabeth, you've come such a long way, baby girl.
Come full circle.
Such a long way.
If you're a Slate Plus member, you can join us on the playground right now. The segment is live in your podcast feed right next to the show. If you're not a Plus member, we really hope you'll consider showing your support. In addition to our undying love and gratitude, you'll get some great perks with Slate Plus. You'll get to hear the playground segment every week. And of course, this show and all your other Slate favorites, totally ad-free. Please consider becoming a Slate Plus member. That is going to ensure that we can keep making this show, frankly. And that's our show. Wherever and however you're listening, subscribe, leave a rating and review, and tell your friends. If you want more parenting advice, check out Karen Feeding the column at slate.com. This episode of Karen Feeding is produced by Shayna Roth. Micah Phillips is our video producer. Thank you, Micah. Mia Lobel is executive director of podcast for Slate, and Ben Richmond is senior director of podcast production. For Lucy Lopez, Elizabeth Newcamp, and Kate Lindsay, I'm Zak Rosen. Thanks for listening.